You to Quinn Wade coming to y'all with some free agency news. Pacers acquired Thomas Bryant from Heat for second round pick. Basically, the Indiana Pacers trade for Thomas Bryant by getting him from the Miami Heat for a future second round pick swap. Bryant becomes trade eligible on Sunday after signing a 1 year deal with the Heat this past offseason. Bryant will give the Pacers depth at center following injuries to James Wiseman, who they just picked up, and obviously Isaiah Jackson. But they already have Miles Turner and they already have a guy like Obi Toppin. Miles Turner is obviously a rim protector, but Thomas Bryant can rim protect okay, but he also can hit a mid range and hit a three, and he can also get dunks because he's mobile and athletic. So it makes sense for them to try to get the best center that they can get. And, for what they're giving up is not really that much. The question is, will Thomas Bryant spend a long time there because he only signed a 1 year deal? Was it really worth giving rid of a second round pick for 1 year of Thomas Bryant? I know the Pacers are trying to stay competitive. I know they're trying to make the playoffs, but didn't really make too much sense for me because James Wiseman is younger and he has more upside, but we've been saying that for a long period of time and he hasn't really became much. I think Thomas Bryant is a better player than James Wiseman, and I think he'll be a better player than the second round pick that you gave up. But if you're not going to keep him long term, which you can keep the second round pick for about 2 to 3 years on a cheap, affordable contract, which Thomas Bryant is on for this 1 year, I think that it does make you think, can they have did something a little better? But by the time as Bryant still being under contract with them, they can always negotiate how to extend him if he plays well. So I also look at this year as an evaluation of Thomas Bryant. Is he worth keeping? Is he a guy that's going to bring for full commitment to the team, to the organization, and try to come out there and be a difference maker? Or will he be a powder that's mad that he signed the deal and he already got traded and now he has to find a way to up his value or up his play to get another big payday, which he hasn't really got a huge one yet. But he is getting older. He is better than the average center. He is a solid backup to Miles Turner, and they do similar things. And they can also play both of them at the same time because they both can space the floor and set screens. So I think Thomas Bryant is one of the better centers that's out there. I think the Pacers did a good job of getting them. We just got to see what they do with them in the future. Pistons just waived Paul Reed, but they actually re-signed him, and they ended up waiving Javante McCoy, which is kind of crazy that the Pistons chose to go about it that way by utilizing these cap gymnastics. The Pistons were able to increase their available cap space from 10.5 million to about 14 million, which is good, which means they can add more players or do more things to get the players that they want, which is good to see. So that was smart things for them to do. In 12 games this season, Paul Reed is averaging 4.8 points and 1.9 rebounds in 10 minutes, showing you that he is a guy that you can rely on to score and also rebound and also defend his position at a decent level. That's all you can ask him to do as a role player. Um, Bulls are still hearing news about Zach LaVine. They don't really want to get rid of the guy just yet. But, you never really know how things go. They get an offer they can't refuse. Obviously, he'd be a guy that'd be off the team very quickly. But he is playing well, and he is one of the better guards in the league. He's averaging 21 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists in those 33 minutes and over 23 games this season for the Bulls. And he's healthy for this year so far, and I think that that's something that's only been building up his trade value. He's a shooter. He can score off the dribble. He can play make. He's an athlete. He can get out in transition. He does a lot of things right, and he's still a young guy that's under the age of 30. So I think he can be a big part of another team if they decide to move off of him. I think he showed that he's better than he was last year. Obviously, no DeMar DeRozan, so he has more chances and more opportunity. But he was even an all-star when they had DeMar DeRozan, so it shows you that he's adaptable and he's also coachable, and that's what you would like to see out of a player like that. But I also heard that the Pelicans are open to trading every player out of Herb Jones, Eve Meese, and Trey Murphy the third. That's crazy that they want to keep those guys and nobody else, but they're young. You know that Trey Murphy can handle the ball and he can score on and off the ball. Eve has shows that he can rebound, he can finish in the paint. They just got him, so I don't see a reason why they should even think about getting rid of him because he has upside that's still untapped. In New Orleans, hopefully. But trades, if you got a young piece like that, and other teams sees what he can do, and they see that they can get him for another 5 to 7 years, and if he stay healthy, that would be a good deal just based off the fact that he's a rookie. It makes sense. And then Herb is one of the best perimeter defenders, so I understand why they want to keep him long term too, because it's hard to find young guys that want to compete and defend, especially when you can do multiple positions, and you don't really you don't really see young players doing that often. As crazy as that seems. And then Kings have made Kevin Herter and Trey Lyles available in trade talks. I'm not really surprised about Trey Lyles. Most teams think he's replaceable. He gives you the ability to play small. He can stretch the floor at the four position. Obviously, looking at it that way, he has some type of value. That's why he's still in the NBA, and obviously he can still play. But I actually met Trey Lyles at Summer League, and I seen what the team was trying to get in his ear about and what they was trying to help him become in the league. But Trey Lyles is on an aspiring $8 million contract. The Kings also have two tradable future first round picks that they can offer in trades ahead of the deadline to try to improve their roster. Herder has 2 years left on his contract. The veteran wing is at $16 million for this season and $17 million next year. That's a high number for a player like him that hasn't really been playing that well this year, in my personal opinion. And the Kings have not been as good as we thought they would be. They've been losing a lot of games. They've been in a lot of tough situations. And it is going to be interesting to see how they can improve this roster for them to have a deep playoff run, is what they were trying to get DeMar DeRozan for, and it hasn't really paid off for them yet. But the Kings, rallied in this week to bring their record of 13-13 on the season. However, a 500 record isn't where Sacramento saw themselves when they picked up the upgrades on their roster this summer. And they also wanted their younger players to continue to develop. And also, De'Aaron Fox is just torching the league this year, and Sabonis has played real well too, and it hasn't really equaled to wins, even though those are some things that we didn't see coming. They basically had to play that way just to match the teams that they're going against. So they did grow, they did develop, they did evolve. It just the NBA did too, and they're still stuck in the same position because of that. Warriors consider expanding in trades with Nets to include Cam Johnson. Not really a surprise about that, because it is some interesting things you can do with guys that can handle the ball and score, especially because they have some guys that does it at a decent level in Golden State. But it's guys like Cam Johnson that can do it better and has proven that basically the entire year. So I'm not surprised that the Warriors would try to do that. It makes a lot of sense for them to feel that way and try to go in that direction. Jerry McCain also ended up tearing his knee up with his meniscus. Feel like that was unfortunate. At the end of the day, that's really crazy that ended up happening, and it's just mind blowing because it just been a torturous season for the Philadelphia 76ers. As unfortunate as that can be, it still seems like nothing is going their way, and it just seems like they should just go ahead and just tank it up at this point. And even the Warriors, let me make this trade. They traded for Dennis Schroder to Warriors in exchange for DeAnthony Melton and future picks. And I think that this deal makes sense because Dennis Schroder has been one of the better guards in the league. I'm not saying he's an all-star or all-NBA player, but this guy really goes out there and compete his butt off. DeAnthony Melton was a guy that wasn't going to play at all because he injured his ACL. So he's out for the rest of the season, and it makes sense for them to move him out of there, and get another player that can score. I mean, the deal sends two-way guard Reese Beekman to Brooklyn among along with the three unprotected second round draft picks, 2026 via Atlanta, 2028 via Atlanta, and 2029 Golden State owned second round pick. Golden State also receives a 2025 second round pick in this trade. None of those picks are crazy right now because we don't really know what they're going to be and what they're going to end up becoming. Obviously, DeAnthony Melton would be mad that you got picked up for a team you really wanted to play for. Then the business side makes you move just because you got an injury. But, Beekman, he gets us the chance to really play a lot, possibly, and show what he can offer and show what he can do and show what he can become. And then Dennis Schroder, he's going to be in a small backcourt with Steph Curry, as they both are not the greatest defensive guards, but they are two of the most tougher guards to defend. And Schroeder is averaging 18 points and 6 assists this season for the Nets. So I think he definitely can give them double figures off the bench or as a starter, depending on what they're trying to do, and give them scoring. I know they have some guys that's disappointing them in their team, and Buddy Hield got a little, he came back down to earth and not as hot as he was at the start of the season. And now they know that this guy was available and he's really been doing well, whether he's getting to the paint, hitting a three, or just finding ways to break down the defense to find open spots for shooters. Golden State has a bunch of shooters, so his cutting and his driving ability will really aid this team real well. And, Brandon Podziemski has been a guy that's been disappointing this year. When it comes to offense and playmaking and trying to score, he has really not been efficient at all from the field or from three, and that's something that Schroeder has been while still being a good playmaker. But I would also say that the Warriors had to make a move because they're already 14-11. So, at the time of recording this video, and like I said, Schroeder and them can play that hot potato a little bit. I don't want to shoot, you can shoot, or you can shoot, I don't want to shoot. And they can just slowly get to switches and put the centers in tough situation and get all the way to the basket, or the power forwards or guards that's, not really good defensively. They can put them in a torture chamber with their handles and being able to bend the defense to the way they like. And that's going to be fun to watch the Warriors actually do that because of Schroeder. And like, Schroeder is not a crazy 3-point shooter when it comes to attempts and how many he's going to take. But just the fact that he can knock down open ones and he can do it if you stay in his face too long, give him some space, he's not afraid to pull that shot off with no hesitation. So he's a guy that's really confident in what he does, and he also played on teams that's competitive too. So he knows how to get up for competition. He helped the Nets win more games than people thought that they was going to win, and he been going for 25 to 30 points throughout the entire season, and he's shooting 45% from the field. So I think that that's something that's fun to see and fun to do. But he also played with LeBron, so he knows how to play with other ball dominant players, even when he's on the perimeter. So I don't think that's going to be a problem either for him. And he is a guy that's really good at what he's trying to do on the court. And you look at the fact that he's shooting 80% from the free throw line and 38% from three, and that's really good because he also has a steal, which can help them get easy opportunities and give them cushions, or give them, a lead, or just give them somebody that can, actually help them offensively and defensively to a certain extent, depending on who's out there and who he has to guard. And, if he's going to go against other bench players, he's above average against those type of players. So I can see him being a huge difference maker with Buddy Hield and other guys on the court, forcing them to make a decision. Do you want me to stop me from getting to the paint and scoring, or do you want me to kick out to a guy that can punish you for over helping or making that extra rotation that I can always find a way to stop and give it up to somebody else? And he's good with a guy like Kevon Looney because he can find them in the dunker spot, and that can allow them to get easy opportunities and easy twos because either you're going to let me lob it or you're going to let me get to the basket and just lay it off the backboard like he usually does. He has far more options and far more weapons on the Warriors than he had on the Brooklyn Nets. So this could be a really good deal for them. when it comes to offensive impact. And I think that's why they had to make it. You're getting up a guy that can't really play and a guy that you wasn't going to play for a guy that can do everything that you need right now. And you can still try to make another move before the trade deadline is over. And you can put yourself in a situation where you become a better team in the season and figure it all out throughout the regular season and be prepared for for the playoffs. And if the Warriors can keep winning and they can keep finding the ways to close out games with the W's, then that just helps them finish better for a better matchup and have home court advantage possibly some rounds in the playoffs. We don't know where they're going to end. We don't know how they're going to be, but they got off to a hot start and then they start cooling out and the teams start figuring them out. Now they made a trade to switch things up and go in a different direction offensively and defensively. And they also got rid of a body that they can't use at all anyway to a guy that's been playing as one of the best point guards in the league status. This is what Dennis Schroder has been doing. 18-6 on good efficiency numbers ain't nothing to sneeze at. It's actually something that's good to see. And now they have them. Other than that, comment, like, subscribe, share, hit the notification bell for more analysis. And if you're new to the channel, I make conversation videos just like this in different varieties too. Also do breakdowns of legends, current players, rookies, and also superstars and future superstars. And I also cover the NBA draft. And I also do mock drafts too. So if you love NBA content, check out my channel. And if you want more information or how to get to know me or more stuff that's not on YouTube, my social medias will also be on my page too, aka channel. And if you want to find out more information, that's the best way to hit me up. And then at the end of the day, hopefully I see you guys later today, as there's only one game on, which is the Cup game, Bucks versus Oklahoma City. If it's meant to be, it's meant to be. So if I see you later today, which is Tuesday, then I will let you know how I feel about that game and we'll see who wins it. Other than that, it's going to be fun and entertaining. I can't wait to tell you guys what I think. And hopefully I'll see you guys later today.